So for drilling. Yeah, why not for drilling?
Yes,
it is well.
All you people with your soul.
Good morning.
God will help us.
In front, not the devil. It has to be God. The day when they will start helping people. That day. That will be the day.
Are you hearing me?
Yes.
I hope the Accra, people will be in the house early today. I heard they had some earthquake. Yesterday.
Earthquake, Batra.
Yeah, they actually have an earthquake fault. They have almost the only earthquake fault around.
At which area?
It's been a long time they experienced such tremor. Well, let's call it ground tremor. That is why for many years they didn't have all this long tall story building. For many years, always bungalow. Because the longer your house is, the more. And if you look at their soil, it's red soil, dark red soil. Maybe our sister Elizabeth. Elizabeth, did you feel the trauma or the tremor? Did you feel the tremor or the earthquake?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Only in Accra, right?
Yeah.
People in Accra will start moving out to Cape Coast now. they will start investing. They'll start investing in Cape Coast. See my sister, see your cheeks has come out too. See you're getting very robust. Nice Elizabeth, see your cheeks are rounded now. The Lord is good. The Lord is good.
All the time. Yeah, so
that was what I was telling Christine. Christine didn't believe me. If you see
Christine, Lizzie, good morning.
How are you?
Christine, don't talk.
I'm good. How are you?
By grace, so
I need to talk. One can't share that joke alone.
What are you talking?
No, don't.
Christine,
don't say anything, or else you lose 10
Auntie
points.
Lizzie, good morning.
how are you?
No.
How are you?
Fine,
You
thank
lose
you, Auntie
10
Lizzie.
points. You lose 10 points on your reflection paper. If I won't reflect, don't you reflect? Oh, yeah, should not hear that.
What happened?
Yeah. If only you knew.
What was that?
If only you knew.
I don't know. Kilode.
What is that?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Good morning from Jos.
I'm good.
Hey, good morning, our small London. Good morning. Just people.
See Nathaniel cheek as it be.
No, that one our original pop-off before though.
Nathaniel they fat for mouth.
Auntie Lizzie.
Yeah, so how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you doing?
Stay among the living.
You're all right.
Auntie Lizzie.
Bonjour.
Hey, Mr. Emmanuel, bonjour. Ça va?
Ça va bien.
Hi, Lizzie.
Très bien. I'm speaking French now. See, I'm speaking
It's
French.
good. It's good.
I'm speaking French now. Stay there.
Keep it up.
They speak Yoruba.
No, it's only you. It's only on your head that hear that.
Yes.
Comment tu t'appelles?
Je m'appelle Onyinyechi.
Wow.
If you add coupe me bamba. For our village, we they eat cocoyamo. All right. Okay. Looks like we are gathering. It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
You said the group here.
Tochuku don't they wear glasses.
In the borrower,
Oh, there's uncle.
They borrow his borrowed glasses.
Nah,
Now wait till where they do.
we have to read and
You have to
read.
read. They're waiting for
They
you.
do for
Tochukwu, they're waiting for you. I think Ekene waiting for you. Try to be organized. So come and start boss ministry. So can somebody please remind the rest of the guys in the class? I'm sure our Accra people today. Selena, please remind our people now. Selena is a class monitor.
Oh,
Selena,
I'm
Selena, you know
yes,
the earthquake no reach where you did.
I don't think it's
I know. So even you say you be earthquake. Selena alone, the earthquake. There is very between earthquake and heartquake. So people are heartquake. Hearts will do like this. They know themselves.
We know. No more heartache. We have
so you still have to give up yourself. They're not talking. They don't mention any name.
It no means say I talk. Now be say I did victim.
No, not heartquake.
As I'm speaking for those that cannot speak for themselves.
Nigeria Labour Congress.
Exactly. Our solicitor.
Let just give like 2 minutes. While we are waiting, let's pray so that officially we'll say that we have opened this place. Now, where is Ashafa? Ashafa?
Sir. Good morning, sir.
Efwala Dura.
Let us pray.
Efwala Dura.
Our gracious Father, we want to thank you so much for this opportunity this morning. Father, there are a lot of people, Lord God, that slept yesterday night and they were unable to wake up this morning. But the fact we are waking, Lord Father, this morning, it's cause for thanksgiving. Lord, we have done that of yesterday, and this is yet another one. I pray, Father, for everybody, O Almighty God, that you are going to use this morning as resource person, most especially Uncle Emmanuel. I pray, Father, that you grant him wisdom, O Almighty God, to dish out the word, O Lord Father. And then for us that will be listening, I pray, Father, that you help us to be a good listener, O Almighty God, that the purpose of this training, O Lord God, will be achieved, O Lord Father, and at the end, your name will be glorified, O Lord God. I pray for those who are still going to be connecting with this class, that you be with everybody, O Lord God, that at the end, your name and your name alone will be glorified. Thank you, Abba Father, for we pray in Jesus' mighty name with thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So it's good to see 16 people in the house, plus me 17. Yesterday was awesome. Thank you, Ashafa, for the opening prayer. So before we jump into today's class, let's just open it up a bit. Let's I assure you guys we're going to end today's class on or before time, because I know that is data consuming for every single minute that we spend. Some of us might not be able to handle it. So I assume that's why some people had to log out, or maybe they have other things they have to attend to. So let's just share, what was the most striking thing for you yesterday? I know that I enjoyed just listening to the conversation yesterday on WhatsApp. So let's take hands up. The first hand here is Titus Ashafa.
Yes.
Was that hand just disappear? Okay. What's the most?
Yes.
Let's make that short as possible so that people can speak. Then after you, Rotimi will speak.
Okay, sir. Well, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Yes, I'm really grateful. Let me first say I thank Mr. Emmanuel and everybody who has given me this privilege to be part of this training, even despite the fact that I'm not on the church staff, because I believe it has really impacted my life. Yes, that being said, yesterday I learned a lot. I learned that in the issue of adding value to people, that I need to be adding value to people every day. In fact, I want to quote Uncle Emmanuel. Uncle Emmanuel said something yesterday that he said I can't be in the ministry where people don't have a phone. In fact, that really touched me. That wow, for me, I normally post some things on platform for my leaders or some of the members, but it is highly discouraging that it is not all of them that get most of those things that I normally post, because not all of them have this Android. And I've been looking at it. How am I going to do this? How will I make sure that these people really get? How will they get phone? But when Uncle Manuel also said yesterday, I've been now thinking, what am I going to do to make sure that at least these people get the phones, that they will be able to get the information. That is one part of it. And apart from that, well, I also learned that my job is to raise one or two person, so that at least my work will be able to be lessened. For me, for the past year, I can now see that I'm doing it alone. Let me just put it that way. It's like I'm doing everything. But with what I learned yesterday, I learned that just raise one person. By the time you raise one person, every other people will be involved and the job will be pleasant. So that is what I'm now resolving to do now. That at least let me just raise one person, or even it is two, so that they are the one that will in turn assist me, and they can even in turn teach other people. So it's really an eye opener for me. But I don't know if I may ask questions, sir.
Hold your question just a bit,
Okay,
so that thank you so much for sharing. Let me just add something. If there's a need for me to chip in something, I will definitely do. What I said yesterday, I know you know what I said, but what I said is not I can't be in a ministry where people don't have phone. Say I can't be in a ministry where I'm the only one who has phone, or I'm the only one who has a laptop. My job is to equip people so that they can be, whatever I am. And when I talk about raise people up, don't just limit it to one person. If you can do more than one, that would be most ideal. If you can do more, excellent. Because if something happens to that one, it takes you back to the stormy stage. So, but our job primarily is to add value to people and raise people up. That's our job, raising people up. Thank you very much, Mr. Ashafa. You are a very good student. Let me see. There are two hands up. I'm actually looking up for my sisters. Let me take Tochukwu Nwaribe. Your hand is up.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
A big thank you to Mr. Eme and his team for all what they've been doing. I could remember since 2014 until today, we're still learning. Yesterday, thank you so very much. It was another eye, opener, to open my eyes to see that our church, ICOC, even as an individual, is not a monument, that it is a movement. Because a monument, actually, when you get to the stage of monument, it dies. It remains there. It doesn't go anywhere anymore. But it is a movement. And I also pick that in everything we do, that I do, I should be able to produce 2, 3, 4 of my type, so they can continue what laid down, what I learned, and what people should also know, because that actually will take the movement to where it should. There were so many, but the one that really caught me was the 5 levels of leadership, where I was made to know that position is a right, like a right of a church leader, maybe leading a single group or a kids kingdom, that it's actually a right where, because people say that, hey, I'm the church leader, and they will follow. But I should not remain there. I should ensure that I move to the stage of permission, where I make sure I build relationship. And at this time, people want to follow because they want to, because of the friendship I have built with them over time and what I've inculcated in them. And the third one is that at this time, I should be able to move to the stage of production, because when you have the position, I move to permission, I should be able to move to the stage of production. At this time, result is expected in what we are doing, that people will follow me because of what I have done. I must be able to replicate. People will be able to see what I have done, and what I'm doing. And at that stage, I should also move to people's development, where I reproduce. That is actually the main aim that really took me yesterday, that we can't do all of these things and not be able to reproduce 2, 3 people that will follow. They say people will follow you because of what you have done, reproduction, and that moves to the stage of pinnacle. At this time, what you have done from stage 1, 2, 3, 4 now earns you this respect. That moves us to get to know an icon, Nelson Mandela, Margaret Thatcher, whoever have actually led leaders of today, and we're able to see some pictures of those that led positively and negatively. So the 5 levels of leadership really caught me, and that is what I'm actually looking at, and I'm going to work more as I go. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Tochukwu. Let's see if we can get a sister. If we can't get a sister, I'm going to move on. Then we're going to take.
This one that you get
yes, thank you for leaving your mic on also. What we're going to do is we are going to move on. If the fellow Gista is that Queen Elizabeth, if that is you, you can go ahead and speak. Okay, please go ahead and speak.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. I mean, for me, the class was really challenging because as a missionary for the past 20 or so more years, looking back, I feel like one of the things that you said that really struck me yesterday was that a lot of times we grew up, I mean, I grew up as a disciple with the focus being on, baptize, the church need to grow, and that's what as we went on different missions, and think that's the mentality that we'll carry along. But once we said that we are not, raising up leaders, and that is why it comes to a point where the church is stagnant, because once you are not raising up leaders, you will not have people. You keep baptizing people, and people keep falling away, and the strain and the energy you put in bringing people into the kingdom, you don't have people to maintain them into the kingdom, and that really struck me. And I feel like it's something we need to. I wish this message can be a continuous something sent all over, because I know it is not too late. But my focus now is like the young generation that are coming out, how can we be able to impact them? Because their goal or their dream, it's like the ministry, coming into the ministry now is not like attractive anymore, because they see some of us there and they see things that are going on. They might be thinking about, if I leave my career, whatever, and I come into the ministry, it's not like a joy anymore. It's not exciting anymore. So to get people to come into the ministry to train them, it's becoming challenging. But I know God is faithful. But that really struck me a lot, that if some of us are going to get out of the ministry tomorrow, what am I going to leave? Who am I going to leave behind? Who will be able to take my place? And so my focus should not only just be, yes, I need to baptize, but I also need to focus and pray to God that God will give me people. One day I would like to go back home, but if I'm leaving Cape Coast, who am I going to be living in Cape Coast? That want to say, okay, Elizabeth is not here, but I can see someone who is in her place. So thank you so much.
Thank you, my sister, and may God bless all your work. Especially some of us are missionaries in our own country. But if you've been a missionary from country to country, and the least place that you are in is in your own country, you also you also say something. I want to thank you for your passion that you have for churches all over, whether it's Central Africa or West Africa and on and on. Yeah, you said some salient, you made some salient points. We need to really help the next generation. One thing I can say, somebody who has been in the, let's say, the game, I've been in the game for like 26 years as a paid minister for the church, and I know that there are some things we did. You can imagine somebody building a house without a plan, without a blueprint, and somebody building a house with a blueprint. They are just two different things. If you build a house with a blueprint, it is easier for you to have the same standard all the way. It's high standard. But if you build it, it just becomes whatever you can build. Someone's home will be very nice, someone's home will be bent, someone's home will be round, someone will be square. But it's a building, but it can house so many people. So with that hindsight, I look back, then I also look front. If you don't look back, you won't be able to know how far you have come, and you can't even measure where you are. Then you won't be able to know where you need to be. Because if where you're coming from is not good enough, then you have to project. But if you're not even looking back, you won't know whether you are moving or you're not moving. You are just going to be on a rocking chair. And that is the whole idea of this class that we're doing. As I teach, you guys know me, I'm going to be as open as I can, as God wants me to. I'm not going to say things that I'm not supposed to say. And if in any way I say something I'm not supposed to say, I pray that God will forgive me, and you guys will also, forgive me also. But the truth is that, there's a lot that we have learned in the past few years. So today I'm going to do two different things today. And you see what I'm going to do. I'm going to do two different things before we end the class. Let's start by looking at the psychology of leadership. Let's look at psychology of leadership, and maybe to help us to also focus on the what I may call the psychology of the international churches of Christ. Let's look at our psychology. I can do a psychology of any church, but why not do of our own also? I'm sure you can see my slide at this time. Yes, my slide is up. Now, I'm going to be saying some things that I believe will interest us. So please, let's take them to heart. Let's also be discerning. Let's discern. Let's look at profiles in leadership. In this picture, you see people from all races, different color, different hair tone, different heights. Everybody are coming together, both the one that have hair and the one that don't have hair, and the one that you don't even know which one is wearing wig. Amen, sisters. Amen. Okay, so look at leadership structure and their challenges. Leadership, I've had to sit down to kind of ruminate, just chew it over and over and over again. When a child behaves in a way, they will say, which home did you come from? If somebody acts in a way, they will say, which country are you from? Where did you come from? So I'm going to be sharing a little bit about our leadership structure and why we are the way we are, and why we need to change, or why we need to remain on some of the good. Because not everything that we have done that is totally bad. Most are good. Most, not some. Most are good. So let me take some time to give you a historical perspective of the ICOC. A historical perspective. So, most of what I'm going to say will be from my own perspective, and also perspective of people who were also there. So I've had talks with people, from Kip McCain to Roger Lamb to Bob Gemple I've really had conversations with all of those guys. So, and I've had conversations with people who were very close to some of the main guys. Let's look at the timeline. A timeline would be a good place to actually start. The timeline I have there, the first one, where you have that start with blue and goes to shades of purple, pink, or thereabout to red, is the Crossroads era. So, this is a timeline of the birth and growth of the discipling movement in the American Restoration Movement Churches of Christ. So, when we talk about the Restoration Movement, really, historically, we're actually talking about the restoration. The restoration. I'm looking for a very good word. Appeal or plea, restoration plea that happened mostly in America. So those of you that have read my book, would have been able to take it from 18th century, that to the early 19th century, then on and on. But something happened during the Industrial Revolution. Families are usually grown, children are grown in their families. You will never see a child growing outside a family unless that child, even if it's an orphan, uncle, will take that child in and everything. So every home, just like in biblical time, just like in African traditional religion, you will see father, mother, sister, brother, nephew, they live together. They all live together. But during the Industrial Revolution, there was need for workers. In those days, people were farmers. They grow what they eat, and they eat what they grow. So the father can be a farmer. So the son automatically grows up to become a farmer. Now, women are automatically stay-home mom. They stay at home and grow the children. They are the one who knows the children and everything. And while the women are home, they do housework. Some of them can become seamstress, or they can weave the loom, or they can make clothes, so many things. So if you have a girl, automatically that girl will also follow in the way of the mom. Now, people were not growing more than what they could eat. But during the Industrial Revolution, there was not a need for people to not go out, go far. And by the way, only the boys will go to school, and the fathers are the ones that teach the son at home. When education now became formalized, every child, irrespective of your age, from 4 years, 5 years, they are all in the same class. To 18 years, they are all in the same class. They are all taught the same thing. Before we now begin to now have the different, like primary 1, primary 2, like first grade, second grade, and on and on and on. So during that that period, more people were needed to go work. So we now begin to see fathers leave home, and mom now begin to take care of the children. Fathers will be sending money back, and they'll be coming back. So there was a breakdown in family in a way. And by the time the child hits 16 or 17 years old, he too begins to work. He too will not go out. Now, when education now, of course, the highest you can get is high school in America. High school then is like the pinnacle, the ultimate. But there was no need for universities and everything. Now, what happened was that these universities were built in various places. Children have to leave home. So you can see right from the time of the Industrial Revolution, families were now broken down. Families were broken down. The family structure we had, just like in Nigeria, my parents, our parents had to migrate from the villages to the towns. Sometimes they would leave women home at home. They begin to raise up, so it's not coherent anymore. Now, during that time, many of the people in the churches of Christ were beginning to have concern that their children, when they go to these colleges, they were liberal schools. Liberal means that, hey, it's just for everybody. It's not a religious school or anything. They were involving in drugs. They were involving in sex. They were involving in all kinds of things. They were really concerned. So what the Church of Christ began to do is that they now introduced homeschooling. Even till today, they still do it. Some people will train their children through a high school. In America, you can actually do that. Train your children through a high school. And when the examination comes, they go and take an exam. They'll pass high school. They'll not get a diploma. They go to university. But that makes the mom to be a full-time housewife. Even here in Nigeria, some churches of Christ actually do it. In Ilorin, Church of Christ in Ilorin actually, if one of our sisters in Ilorin actually went to go and train under them to now become a home, teacher for the children. So because they feel that if we're able to groom these children before send them into the world, it will prepare them much more. Now, the next thing they did was to start universities. You have Abilene Christian University. You have Lincoln Christian University. You hear things like the Sunset School of Preaching and many more. In fact, in America we'll probably have like at least 50 universities that is affiliated to the Church of Christ. But you cannot restrict them to go to only those universities. They were not going to other universities, and when they come back home, their faiths are destroyed. Now again, even before the university stage, some of those teenagers were going to go and work in town. So when they go and work in town, they automatically will join Church of Christ that is close to where they work. And so you now have all these young kids without families. So that is the birth of the teen ministry. The teen workers, if you listen to me, that's actually the birth of teen. So churches that are receiving all these young men and women without father or mother, father is there somewhere, mother is one village, whatever. That's okay. How can we take care of them? Because they are not at home, they now begin teen ministry. The ones that are going to college, universities, they now begin to look, okay, let's have a campus ministry to help them. One of the things that they did was what is called a campus chair. Campus chair means that they will send a minister for Church of Christ to go and take a degree course or a postgraduate course most of the time, like master degree, even a PhD. So while you are there, or you can also be teaching. So while you are there, you are taking care of the student body that is there legitimately. You are doing that. So it was during that period that they now had a conference in Texas. People drove around. A lot of people who are in a movement right now went to that Texas or whatever, and they were like, "Man, we need to do something. We need to do this. We need to do that." Well, and there was a young minister that was there. A song leader, actually. Young leaders were there. His name is Chuck Lucas. Interestingly, he just died a few months ago. Just died a few months ago. Chuck Lucas was like fiery with some that said, "You know what? I'm going to go to this university in Florida, against Florida. I'm going to go and start this campus ministry." And people began to hear what he was doing. His goal was that for every 100 students or whatever, there's going to be one disciple. Before I know, you collected about 300 disciples. 300 people became down where like Sam Lane became a disciple, Roger Lamb, Kip McCain. That same church is where Richard Alawaye also became a disciple in that same church before he now moved out to Boston and everything. So they now said, wait a minute, let us now go and start campus ministries. So they will train the campus ministers and send them to the universities. They now send them to Church of Christ. But unfortunately, there was a culture clash. I want you guys to pay attention why we are who we are, why we have done the things. So what we know today as the ICOC was actually giving birth as a campus ministry. And of course, Church of Lucas had some, personal sins, let's just call it personal sins. That's as much as I've heard. I have an idea of what's happened, but let's just say he has some personal sins in his life that caused him to be stepped down as a leader. Even before he was stepped down, people were already disagreeing with his method, because his method worked very well with students who are very idealistic, whatever. But there were older people who found it very repulsive. So many times when he sent campus ministers to go to churches, they're usually frustrated. And usually their funding is stopped and everything. So it was during that period that a young campus minister was also fired. Roger Lamb was fired. Kip McCain was also fired in the Church of Christ where they were, and they were looking for a job, obviously. Steve Kinnard was somewhere else. I mean, it's not Steve Kinnard, Steve Johnson. That was when a struggling small Boston church now put up an advert and I hired a campus minister in the name of Kip McCain. Kip McCain was baptized in 1972. And Kip McCain and Roger Lamb, they were fired in the Memorial Drive Church of Christ in 1977. So between 1977 and 1978, they were looking for a job, and that's why Kip McCain was hired in the Boston church. He was hired as a campus minister. Meanwhile, there was a pulpit minister, a guy who was like a volunteer minister there, who was a Harvard master degree, whatever. So Kip felt that the guy was bringing too many things that were not, his theology was not strong. Went back to them and had to renegotiate his appointment. I said, listen, I'm not just going to be leading campus, I want to also lead the church. But there's no point baptizing these guys on campus, bringing them to the church, and they now become cool. There's no point. So it happens that they now gave him both the leadership of the campus ministry and of course the church ministry. Of course, what happened from there on is nothing short of miracle. Wasn't short of miracle. And of course, because of the friends he had in the in the Crossroad Church of Christ, he now began to pull them in, pull all his friends in, people that have lost their job, whatever. He began to put them. So Boston became like a hub for the old Crossroad Church of Christ. So in a way of saying, Kip McCain became the new leader of the Crossroad movement, because it was same ideology, the same theology, the same every single thing. Because the decline of Chuck Lucas allowed Kip McCain to actually rise. And Kip McCain did it in a very grand style. So he put people in, and the church began to grow and grow and grow. So of course, most people that wanted to grow saw the growth happening. Say, hey, let me come and learn. People like Mike Talifa became a disciple. He was in the Millennium Church of Christ. Then he was actually teaching, preparing to be a minister. He was studying theology. When he now studied the Bible, and now he saw that he was living a life of sin and deceit and every single thing. So he now moved over to the Boston church to come and train free of charge. In those days, you come and train, for somebody else to pay your salary. The church will not pay you as an intern because they don't pay interns really. So what people like Mike Talifa did was to ask some of his uncles, because his family was entrenched in Church of Christ. Oh, can you please pay my salary? Give me $20 this month. You give me $20. So every month he gets a check. While his wife just got married, wife was now working as a bilingual secretary because she studied French and every single thing. So that was how it picked up, and they now began to plant churches. So they now renamed it to the Boston Church of Christ to give an idea. It was originally the Lexington Church of Christ, which was a little town. That's it. Let's take the whole town, the whole state town actually. The whole state is called Massachusetts. So that became Boston Church of Christ, and of course their focus was on Harvard, MIT, and all these top-notch universities, and that's why they converted a lot of these guys. A lot of many top students in Harvard, MIT, Emmanuel University, and all of that. They actually became disciples. Now they began planting churches in New York. They began planting, like Chicago was replanted. New York was a fresh planting led by Steve Johnson, and that was where Mike now went to go and join. Steve Kinnard was there. Steve Kinnard has always been in the New York church. Steve Kinnard also came from the Miller Church of Christ. His father was a Miller Church of Christ minister. His grandfather, Miller Church of Christ minister. They were all like Church of Christ minister. So, but he moved over to the Boston church, and he has forever have been in New York church. So by the time, before 1987, Chuck Lucas was eventually fired from, by the Crossroad elders. He went back to school to go and study psychology. And he actually did very well. He became a counselor. All his children became disciples. So you'll be able to see the difference between himself and Kip. All his children became disciples. He began to write and whatever. He was a strong force, but he never regained that glory that he had once upon a time. So the Boston church eventually, the Crossroad of Christ eventually cut themselves off from Kip McCain because they felt that there were some methodologies that he was doing that they didn't agree with. So by 1992, the same year I became a disciple, Kip McCain has moved to the LA church that was planted before then, to now go and now take over the leadership of LA church. And when he went there, as usual, he put a lot of strong leaders, and he's a very charismatic person. I've listened to him speak so many times, and it will move you any single day, the way he speaks. And so he moved all those guys in, and of course, he began to have this idea of building a mega church. The mega church movement was actually beginning, at that time. So it was just shortly after 1992 that the name ICOC was actually branded on us. We didn't, it wasn't a name that we took by ourselves, but somebody branded that name on, and we're like, oh, it's a good name. Let's just go ahead and take it. And by 1997, we now begin to now see the Church of Christ, that Church of Christ era. So we come from the Crossroad era, which was purely focused on campus. We now come to the Boston era, which is also heavily influenced by those campus students who became disciples on campus, were the one, leading era. They will now come to the ICOC era, which is now from 1992 to 1997. We now see the entire ICOC era. So you can see that most of leaders have been campus influenced in a way. Now, our goal that we forced on ourselves, let's say that way, was to evangelize the world in one generation. Now, of course, that theology is not right, because there's no place in the Bible that God said you must evangelize the world in one generation. Generation is what, 40 years, really, 40 max, 50 years, but it became a driving force for us. Now, if you want to evangelize the world, let me ask all of us here, if your goal is to evangelize the entire world in a particular short period of time, what ministry position would you focus on more? Anybody? You can unmute your mic and speak if you want to. What ministry position will you focus on more? What ministry? What leadership position will you focus on more? What leadership position more? Okay, Rotimi.
Evangelist.
Evangelist. Who else again? Chrissy said evangelist. Who else again? Sheung.
The youth. For me, the youth ministry.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. The youth ministry.
Which leadership position will you focus on? The youth ministry is not a biblical leadership position.
Yes. An evangelist. An evangelist.
What about Nathaniel? Your hand is up.
Yeah, an evangelist.
Keme, what about you? I'm calling those people who their hands are up.
An evangelist. An evangelist.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
evangelist.
so as we understand our psychology,
The same
that
thing.
was
Yes.
why the focus was on raising up only evangelists, because you need to evangelize the world. And that was why there was not so much emphasis on raising up elders, or raising up counselors, or raising up, or there was no, because we need to just go fast. Now, and there's nothing wrong in raising up evangelists. Evangelist is a leadership position the Bible has given to us. But see, an evangelist's primary job is to preach and plant. That's what he does, really. Preach, plant, and most of the time they move. Preach, plant, move. Preach, plant, move. But you need somebody to take care of the church. And that was why Paul said to the guys, look at the young guys that Paul had, Timothy, Epaphras, Eutychus, Titus, and all those guys, whatever. He will say, appoint elders in every town, just like I have shown you. So you now wonder, why do we have churches that are 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old without an elder? And a church of thousands of disciples without an elder. Now, can you imagine a church in the Bible being 10 years old without anybody, being an elder? Because that's not how, because the church was saying care. Now, because of our psychology, that's now determined the kind of things that we do. And now we are doing like a reverse psychology right now. It's like we have put the carts before the horse. Now we are trying to put all of them together where they're supposed to come. So there was very little time to train. That's what we're doing right now. This will be like a waste of time. Bro, just go and crank. People were appointed evangelists by fax. They just fax the thing to them. Those days before there is internet, they fax it to you, call you up, you're not an evangelist, will appoint you, boom. Or just go back to go. There was no cognizant training, and because we beat down on biblical and theological training. You see, a lot of times, if you see somebody who is afraid of snakes, if you look at their background, either they'll be beaten by snakes, or they have somebody who are beaten by snakes, or in their family line, snake has done something bad to them. If you're somebody who is afraid of water, going to the beach, going to a river, if you look at, there has been some water incidents in their home. So if you see anybody who is all of a sudden, he kind of hates theological training, say blah, because there's something. So Kip McCain himself dropped out of a master degree course when he felt that what we were teaching him is not helping him. He was doing a postgraduate. He's a very smart guy. He graduated like first class, in his first degree, himself and his wife. But he was afraid that all this thing are teaching me whatever. So let me just go and crank. Now, is it throwing away one and keeping the other? No. The Bible says that the man who fears God will avoid all extremes. So right now, we're not saying that evangelists are more important than elders. Elders are more important than Bible talk leaders. Oh, teachers, let's not teach. No. We're saying that we can raise everything on. That's leadership. Find out what is the need of the hour. What kind of leaders do we need? Obviously, there has to be more evangelists than elders. If you guys understand what I mean. You can't. Elders they're not mobile. An elder in Lagos, believe you me, is not an elder in Abeokuta. Just that's the greatest congregation to us. Mr. Riola, Mr. Yamo, Uncle Frank, Mr. Good, all of them, they cannot go and claim eldership. If they move to another country, they cannot transfer their eldership to that place. Because eldership is a congregational role. Now you can recognize him and say, oh, this is our elder from Lagos. Oh, these are elders from anywhere elsewhere. But you can't say, oh, it's not elder for the church. If, like Dr. Phil moved from Lagos to Canada, his eldership dropped. So it is not a title, it's a responsibility that goes with acknowledgement of a congregation. You must have lived there, you are someone that they know there, and they can entrust you to lead the church. So elders are the ones that lead the church. So if you are an evangelist who has made himself a world missions evangelist, who wants to be on top, the last thing you will do is to appoint elders who will now be on top of you. So that's what happened really. Because immediately you appoint elders, what I say that you are relinquishing the church to them. They are the overseers of the church. So the word elder, overseer, presbyter, bishop, whatever, they all mean the same role. They all mean the same role. The word you use describe who they are. If you call them elder, it denotes that they are older men. If you call them overseers or bishop, that means they have oversight. If you call them shepherd, that means they tend the flock. So it's different words that are shepherd or pastors. Now, I know today pastor is used generically for anybody who is a minister in a church, whether you're even singing songs, it's a music pastor. But originally, pastor is actually somebody who oversees. It's another word for a shepherd, an overseer of the flock, they tend the flock. So that was why we even when we appointed elders, we didn't hand the church over to them. And that was one of the things I had with Cape. I mean, I wrote to him and went back and forth and forth. I said, listen, I mean, with all your credentials, those who say your children are all disciples, they're all doing well, let's say appointed by elder. So how come you didn't become an elder? You can become an elder, really. But see, but become an elder would have been relinquishing, because for some reason we have glorified the post of evangelist higher than every other position in the church. That's why even today, even when we appoint teachers, we really don't consult them. We don't really consult them. It's still the evangelists. Right? The only reason why some teachers might even be in the corridors of power is because they have a dual role of evangelists. So you can imagine somebody who is just a teacher only, and I know some of them who are just teachers only. Nobody consults them. But that is not right, because we are a very young church. We are not a very old church. We are a very young church. If you look at from 1960 to now, we are still very, very young. Very young. So we are not like conventions that have gone around for many decades, centuries, and everything. But I believe that as we morph, we are going to learn how to handle some of these things. So these are the things that we are learning from what we now call ICOC 1.0, which is from the 70s to the 90s. Then we now have ICOC 2.0 from 1992 to 2003. And now we now have ICOC 3.0, which is basically from 2003 after the Henry Creed letter to now. So even right now, we are going to now change. We used to have world sector leaders who have like oversight, over authority over everything that happens part of the world. And that was why if something happened in Lagos, world sector leaders practically fired the evangelists in Lagos. A lot of them were fired. The congregation didn't have a say to say, okay, it's our people, we're going to discipline them, they're going to repent. They fired them from abroad, and they were all fired. And if something happens in Lagos, then somebody picks up a phone, calls somebody, leadership, and say, okay, you're coming back to South Africa, come on, whatever. And the church Lagos can't say no, because they were borrowed to us anyway. But right now we are beginning to see a kind of a change, and it's a good change. But you guys are going to be, most of you listen to me right now, are going to be part of that new change. So what you do with this new change is very, very important. It's extremely important for the growth of our church. And I want to start by just telling you our psychology. So that is actually why we do the things we do. That's why it is still very hard to appoint an elder. It's still very hard. Now tell me, in the early church, why was it very easy to appoint elders in the early church? Think about it. Why is it easy for you to see a Church of Christ of 200 disciples having 2 or 3 elders or 4? Well, why would you have churches have been around for decades and there are 1,000 still they don't have any elder? Why do you have a church of 2,000 with only 4 elders? Because we are still trying to get out from that psychology. So could it be that our standard of appointing elders are unrealistic? Maybe. It could also be that we don't know what to do. Maybe. Could also be that we are afraid. Could also be that whatever, because when you appoint an elder, taking them out is very difficult. Very, very difficult, because if you appoint them, you can't just take them out easily. Who's going to take them out? Because they are the ones in charge. So unless they resign by themselves, which is even harder in a community like Africa, that all of us, where everything is position. So that is why we do the things we do. Even here in Africa, you can see that because of our position mentality, a lot of us will not mention people's name without putting a title, like Alhaji, Doctor, Chief, so and so. We'll mention where. If you go to the United States, most people, even if you're a lawyer, they don't put, they won't say, I'm barrister this. No, just say, my name is Clinton, Bill Clinton. My name is Barack Obama. Can you imagine Barack Obama said, my name is Barrister Obama? They don't do that. And that's why some of us today, we introduce our deacon, this is deacon this, deacon that, this evangelist this. But don't do that. This teacher this. So your psychology will influence the things you do, and your terminology, the terms you use, will reinforce your theology. So I felt I needed to start with that, just to test the ground. What do you guys think? If you want to speak, man, want to put up your hand, let me take some few. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are there things, just let's just start with that. I have one hand already. Shola Adekoye. Shoshola will speak, Oji Obunaya will speak, then finally Christy will speak. Okay, let's go, 3 of you. Make it very short.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Shola. How is Ilori?
Yeah, Ilori is fine, sir. Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for this explanation, and it's very, very clear and loud and very, very self-explanatory. But my question is this: I know that when I was in Lagos, and there was a similar question like that I wanted to clarify. But let me ask if that can be cleared to you. The question that I want to ask is this: that I know that at the moment, Kip McKean has started his own church, and I know that at the moment there is a church in Lagos by Kip McKean, and I also got to know that there are disciples worshiping there, and we that we are in ICOC at the moment, I also want to find out, for disciples worshiping there and us that are in ICOC, are we still following the same doctrine? And at the same time, the question again is this: that after when we all die, can I conclude that when we continue holding on to the Bible, can I conclude that we also make it to heaven?
Thank you very much, Shola. That's the very fact. This kind of question all of us should be asking. Now, let me put some people on the spot here. My brother, Charlie Davis, are you there? Charlie Davis. Please unmute your mic, Charlie Davis, please.
Yes,
okay, please.
I am
okay,
here.
Please. I need your voice here, please. I need your voice. You heard the question. What do you say? Charlie Davis, by the way, Charlie Davis was converted in the London church. He came after the mission team here in Lagos, so he knows everything. So someone like Charlie Davis should be answering all these questions for you guys. Oh yeah, my brother, shoot.
No problem, no problem. Okay, what I want to say is that, first of all, let me just make a little contribution to what you just said, and then I'll answer the question. The little contribution I want to make is that our history has a lot to do with our directions, like you rightly said in the past. And because we're coming out of a traditional mainline Church of Christ, as we used to call them, a lot of things were not set right, especially with the issue of eldership. And so we have come from a background where even though elders must be not directly in charge, but work in cooperation with evangelists, we got to a point where because of how the elders were behaving, as John 3 would say, elders had closed the doors and they're not allowing people to enter. They were very bossy and authoritative. We tend to lopsided the whole leadership structure. So the evangelists were more seen than the elders. So that has a lot to do with the way we view leadership. Also, with eldership, instead of looking at quality, we were looking at qualifications. So that also made it difficult to appoint elders, as against historically where we see, like you rightly said, the Apostle Paul appointing elders early. So, but I'll come back to that. And then the other thing is that Kip McKean story, story of denomination is one of actions and reactions of created denominations. And Kip McKean is one of them, and it's a reaction. Instead of maybe talking through things, but basically they're not teaching anything different. I mean, from my own personal convictions, I think I still see them as brothers, because they're not really teaching anything substantially different. It's just that because of the things that happened, he felt like he should get away. So I a lot of times don't want to talk so much about leadership, because I feel that they're responsible to God. That's my personal conviction anyway. That may not be the stand of a lot of people. And then you ask, are we going to heaven? So long as we hold to the Bible and do what the fact that you're in ICOC does not guarantee heaven. Even though ICOC is part of the bigger church, the church universal, the church Catholic, the church is so big. ICOC is not the whole church. We're talking about the whole church. ICOC is part of the church universal. And so long as you hold on to the tenets of the faith, say what's your life and doctrine, and so long as you do that, absolutely. But if you leave that, then your faith is questionable. So just the little contribution I want to make.
Excellent. Thank you, my brother. We're going to be hearing more of your voice on this platform. I have Mr. Francis that say, oh yeah, shoot.
Yeah, how are you?
Good. How is the earthquake that you caused? You caused earthquake in Accra.
Yeah, Charlie is our geologist. Something like that. Thank you, Charlie, for the information yesterday. My question, the question.
No, you need to answer question. You need to answer first. You answer the question that people ask. Then
yes,
I
want to answer with a small observation. I like the way our brothers ask his question, but I'm here with Augustine, and with my what I want to say is what actually Kip McKean think about us, because for Kip McKean, ICOC is dead and we are not disciple.
Yeah,
this is what Kip McKean think about house. In this way, are we going to consider someone who said that we are dead and we are not more disciple? Are we going to consider his movement as a movement we can cooperate with them, or we can do something with them? I don't know. But despite they use the same book for the discipleship, but they say that we are dead and we are no more disciple. I'm confused about it, but I think it's because of the bitterness. You see?
Yes.
And this is who make me a little bit confused about him. Yeah, this is what I can say. Yeah.
Amen. Thank you very much, my brothers. Like I said, you guys can see that they know quite a lot, and we need to be hearing their voices in this place. Now, there is a thin line that we cannot cross.
Yeah.
Like just they said, just like my brother Charlie said, church history is a history of reaction. One person, the Anglican Church reacts towards the Roman Catholic Church, and you have Anglican Church. The Methodist Church, reacts to this. You have this one. So reaction. So who are the people that fired, Kip McKean, Roger Lamb, whatever? Was the elders. So you can imagine you don't want to see elders anymore. So they feel that the elders have too much control, whatever. But it's about working together, like Charlie said, working together. And that's why we still look at eldership with some little of suspicion. And again, we began looking at qualification rather than qualities. Does this brother have the quality of an elder? One, does he desire to be an elder? Yes. Does he have the quality of an elder? He's very logical. He's a reasonable guy. He knows how to shepherd. It's about shepherding. He knows how to build people together. He knows how to administer justice, whatever. But by the time making qualification, we'll be like, let's take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you have gotten 6/6, I will have become an elder. So unless you get all those things, you're not going to be appointed an elder. So when somebody is appointed an elder because he gets 10/10, what if the day now gets 9/10? You'll not be afraid. Hey, they're going to drop me for being an elder. So again, we are working through that, and I'm sure that one day we are going to throw away our fears and just bust out and just start to do what is right. And as a people, if an elder too loses credibility, he should step down honorably. Again, we're not seeing elders also step down honorably. That okay, I don't think I deserve your respect anymore, because I'm not leading my family very well, or maybe there's greed in my life, I'm convicted of greed. But in our society, like in Nigeria, a senator will be convicted of stealing and he still wants to be a senator. It's not like I resign, I've lost respect. So that's that. About ICC, like I said, I've had altercation with Kip, we've written back and forth. When he started his new church, I had to write to him and say, what are you doing? Why are you doing this wrong? He doesn't consider us as going to heaven. That they just tell you guys that. He only sees the ICOC as spare parts that he can use to build his new church. Even during this lockdown, they've gone to poach on our church in Benin Republic. They've gone to poach. And usually what they normally do is that they look out for somebody who is disgruntled with leadership, or somebody who is not happy, or somebody who has attitude, whatever. And I told Kip, how can you be building your church based on material that is defective? And I said, the only person who tried to do it was David. David took people who are indebted, who are bitter, bad attitude, but he made them mighty men. It was the same people that tried to get David 2 times to kill Saul. The same people tried to get, so I say, Kip, you don't have the heart of David. David was a man after God's heart. But if you were David, you would have killed Saul. So he can become king. David said, no, I'm not going to kill Saul. The lost anointed cannot be touched. I went back and forth. After a while, I just stopped writing to him. He just stopped writing to me, and that was it. So I said, why would you be going? And I told him, I said, Kip, I have a son. Then my son was like 10 years old. No, it was less than 10, maybe like 9 years old. And I said, Kip, I have a son. What if my son has a problem with me? We had a quarrel or whatever. And he runs to you, like an older uncle runs to you. What will you tell my son? Will you tell my son to move out of my house to come to your house because I have failed? Or will you say, come, let's go and settle the issues with your father? But what Kip does is that you just say, come and join in. That father, that guy is dead. He's not a good father. Come and join. That is what he's doing. And the truth is that they are paying the price for it all over the world. In Kip McKinn's church in LA, it was a time in a year he lost 500 members 1 year. How do I know I had their stats? How did I get it? I got it from former evangelists that left there. In fact, I helped to rehabilitate some of the evangelists. We have to even raise money on GoFundMe, and so that you can get them a place to stay and whatever, And I'm not doing that so they can come to ICOC. No, I'm not sorry, because you are my brother. Before had their second in command in Lagos here, he left them and came to join us. But nobody will hear about it. The second in command of ICC in Lagos that came from London Church left them, came to us, and said they want to place membership, and he told us all kinds of things happening there, but we never went to press. You will not see it on Facebook, you will not see it anywhere. But if it's Kip McKinn that is able to get a Bible Talk leader from ICOC, he will blow it up. That this guy is the best preacher, is the best ICOC. And just that most of the people that left, that he took from us, I hate to say it, they are not our best. They are not the best of us that actually went. But my prayer is this: Kip McKinn is under discipline. Kip McKinn was excommunicated for divisiveness. So he's still under that discipline. And we are praying that he should repent and change. Now, however, that divisiveness does not affect a young disciple that was just baptized there, maybe yesterday or last year or whatever. They might not know. In fact, on campus, one day I was discipling somebody on campus. And this is what they do in Lagos. Wherever we meet, they want to go and meet in that place. We left the chapel before I know it's Islamic chapel. We leave a spot, they'll go to that. They will just want to. Right now, we have SWAT Academy. They've got to go and start swag. They want to go and start swag. They want, everything we do, our invitation card, our this thing, whatever, it's as if they're just telling us everywhere where we go. Because they are an imitation. When you see an imitation of an original, an imitation wants to look like the original so that to can confuse people to come and buy. And that's what they are doing in Lagos here. So they draw disciples after them by saying bad things about us. Bad things. So that they will not say, oh, you are bad, okay, we are not good. But they are also losing. How do I know? Even recently, I spoke to some people who have left, who used to be from them. And they say, man, things are hard. In fact, one of our disciples joined one of their disciples to go follow up on one of their weak disciples. And there's a lot they can learn from us. Just like there's a lot we can learn from Church of Christ. But just like the river of history goes, we are going to go like this. One day, we are going to come together again. That's what's going to happen. That's what's happening. Right now, there's a group called Common Grounds that is in America. It's Common Grounds means a common space, also a ground of coffee. They come and drink coffee once a month. Ministers from ICOC, from ICC, from Church of Christ, Church of Christ, whatever, Christian Church, they come together to come and have a fellowship together. And just, will you believe it? This week that's coming, next week that's coming, the Bay Area Christian Church that had left the ICOC church in 2003 are having a joint web service, with the San Diego Church of Christ, which is ICOC. The ICOC church in Germany and the Kip McKinn church have actually come together. The Crossroad Church that we excommunicated many years ago because that they are dead, whatever. They have now joined with the ICOC church to become one church, one staff, and they even change their name to a common name. All of them can share. So they are our brothers, but we need to deal with this thing. Just like we owe Church of Christ some apologies for calling them names, for declaring them dead. Nobody can declare somebody dead. It's only God that can declare a whole church dead. Oh, they are all dead, they are all falling away. No, they are not. They are pure disciples. Unless you want to be the only one in heaven. And the one word I always said, well, now you don't have to agree with my theology, but I'm saying from my experience, one of our major problems today is tribalism. Now in Nigeria, I understand tribalism. Africans understand tribalism. We have tribes, and tribes are very good. Tribes, tell you where you are from, the culture you are from. So tribes are good. We have the Yoruba tribe, even among the Igbo tribe, we have sub tribes. But tribalism is not saying that your tribe is the only tribe, and other tribe must either die, because of you. That is what you see in the new tribalism in sports. Arsenal, Chelsea, whatever. It's sometimes can be a healthy tribal difference, or sometimes it can be a negative tribal difference. The question I ask anybody, if you are ICOC, ICC, COC, DIC, Disciples of Christ, DOC, I ask you, will you expect to see anybody in ICOC in heaven? They will probably say yes. Will you expect to see anybody, Church of Christ in heaven? They will say yes. Will you expect to see anybody in the Christian church in heaven? They will say yes. Will you expect to see anybody in Kip McKinn's faction of ICC in heaven? Yes. So if you're going to see them in heaven, why can't you start loving them now? That's the challenge. Why can't you start loving them now? Now, you don't have any control over what they say about you. They can hate you, but we have to love them. If only they know what we know. There have been times where I too have condemned Church of Christ, condemned all of them, until I began to get to know them. And man, these guys are actually serious about the Bible. If one of my professors or two of my professors are from the Church of Christ, and they will teach you the Bible purely. And they love us. They like our evangelistic zeal. But the only thing they want us to stop is to stop calling them names. Can we please stop? If you judge somebody by their worst, you can always find somebody you are better than. Even if judge somebody by the best. Bring the best of Church of Christ and judge yourself. You see that they are better than you. Bring the best of the Christian church and judge whatever. But if you keep pointing at their worst, which was what Kip McKinn would do, you bring the worst of a Nigerian. You now say all Nigerians are 419. You now bring the worst of a Ghanaian. You say all Ghanaians are this. You now bring the worst of a South African. You say all South Africans are xenophobic. You bring the worst. Don't be doing that. Compare yourself with the best of them and try to learn one another. So that is where I'll stop now because of time. I promise you we're going to end on time. We already have 1 hour. Hopefully we will take more questions. If not here, we'll take it on the WhatsApp group. I like what is going on the WhatsApp group, the interaction and everything. If you can keep it strictly Bible, whatever, it will be good. No jokes, no whatever. Just keep it question, answer, sharing your thoughts, and everything. So let me quickly show us something I would like us to. You already have it. I would like for us to sit back and think about leadership in the Bible. Think about leadership in the Bible. I mean, we are not the best as a person. I'm not the best. But look at what can you learn from leadership in the Bible. By the time you look at leadership in the Bible, you look at some of the key ingredients of leadership. You will see honesty and integrity. We talked about that one. You will see purpose. Leadership without the purpose is nothing. You will see kindness and compassion. You will see humility. You will see communication skill. You will see performance management. You will see team development. You will see courage. You will see justice and fairness. And you will see that leadership development we're talking about. Leaders in the Bible develop other people. Leaders in the Bible, they go after justice and fairness. And as a church, we've not really fought for justice and fairness the way we should. And that is why right now, well, I hate to say thank God for George Floyd, but amen. God has used that one man's death to now open up eyes that people have been burying their head. Even in our church, there is racism in our church. I mean, I've had top leaders say it, that you'll find a place where a white man feels free to go and be a minister, evangelist in a black neighborhood. But you can never find a black man being the evangelist in a white neighborhood, even in our own church. Sometimes we want to be politically correct. Oh, we don't want to offend that neighborhood. So, oh, don't hire a black person, only hire a white person. Even in our church. Now, not everybody's like that, but we have become so oversensitive that we are not being disciples. Look at what Jesus Christ did with the Pharisees, with people with the Greeks. Jesus Christ welcomed them. He touched lepers, whatever. So our church also we need to break down. Even in Africa, all this thing about English, about French, about West Africa, East Africa, whatever, we are one race, human race. So before we can fight for George Floyd, talking about the maltreatment over blacks, what about in Africa? What about in our own church? What about even maltreatment of women? What about the way we treat women? So there has to be justice and fairness, courage. We need leaders that are courageous. We need leaders that are able to build people up, team development. We need leaders that will not just say, oh, let's go and be happy, but performance management. How are we going to grow financially? How are we going to grow numerically? How are we going to grow in our faith? Don't just be a leader that is just a play through, just flat. Sometimes it takes courage to say, you know what, we're not doing well. Can we do more? We need leaders with good communication skills. We need leaders who are going to be humble. When we are wrong, we are wrong. We're not always wrong. But when we are wrong, we are wrong. We need leaders that have compassion and kindness, with leaders of purpose, leaders that are honest and have integrity. Honest and integrity. So, these slides, if you don't have these slides, I'm going to give you guys this slide again. Look at leaders in the Bible from Aaron. What lesson do you learn from Aaron? The cost of being a leader. Aaron paid the price of being a leader. The bad Negro, Abednego, courage fueled by faith. Even if you kill me, even if you bomb me, this God will still be my God. Even if it doesn't save me. Look at Abigail, the love connection. Abigail was like, don't mind that guy. That guy's a fool. That's his name. His name is foolish. David, you are a pure man. Don't let this guy mess up your track record. And David said, it is God that brought you to my life. If you have not gone, I'm going to go and kill somebody. And David didn't go and kill Nabal, or what's that his name? And eventually he died. And guess what? David was very smart. He married that woman. That's the kind of woman that people should actually marry. A woman who is smart, who can help you be a disciple. Then, Abimelech was promoting himself so that his father can go down. Abimelech is like someone like Kip. Now, I hate to make that comparison, but he wants to bring people down so that he can go up. No, you can climb up without bringing people down. Then Abraham went the distance, Absalom, and everything. So I want to look at all these leaders from A to Z, Caleb and Elisha. Just look at what is the purpose of their life. What have they done? Even the ones that are Jews and not Jews, like Felix, Festus, Herod, Jesus, Jeremiah, Job. I want all of us to go through all of these leaders. Even the women are there: Martha, Mary, Miriam, Naomi, Ruth, Priscilla, and all of them. There are so many lessons you can learn from leadership, even the 70 elders. So please go through that, and we'll see you when you finish. And let's begin to share. What are you learning? Which one is your favorite character? Now, this is how we're going to end. We're going to end today's class by giving us a challenge, and I hope that you guys will appreciate it. Let's talk to ourselves now, and let us see what we can learn from this thing called 360-degree leader. Who is a 360-degree leader? A leader is the person who is able to influence. Remember, influence those on top of him. So if you're an intern now, how do you have influence on your boss? Let us use that word on person on top of you, your boss. If you are an intern, how do you have influence on somebody that you're subordinates? Let's say your Bible talk leader. If you are an evangelist, how do you have influence over on your elder or your lead evangelist? If you're everything, so 360-degree leader is the person that have learned the skills to influence his boss, his subordinates, his peers, and everybody around him. So you know what? You don't have to be the organ of the group to have a voice. You can have influence over, like me. Some of you in Lagos know, sometimes I will make small video I will take some pictures and I will send it to the governor of Lagos. And guess what? I get a call. And I'll get a call from the commissioner for works. They will say, oh, the governor gave me your number. He said there's a place you actually send the picture. I say, yes, he's here. And they go there, they'll play it. I send feedback to the senators. And that's why someone like me, like I told you, I've spoken with Kiki McCain, I've spoken with Bob Kempo, I've spoken with Randy Jordan, I've spoken with Steve Johnson, I've spoken with all those guys. I don't have to be the guy on top to have influence. So if leadership is about influence, how do you now influence from anywhere you are? You don't have to be on top to have influence or to be under. You can have influence from any angle you are in. Now, before we go into those influence, let's share the things that are not true. The myths of leading from middle of an organization. These are things that are not, you might say, oh, I'm a middleman. I'm not lead evangelist, and I'm not the elder. I'm just in the middle somewhere. These are some things that are not true. Number one is called the position myth. The position myth is when somebody says, I cannot lead if I am not at the top. It is not true. You can't say you cannot lead. So if you think unless you are at the top, you cannot lead, then you are having this position myth. You are lying to yourself. The second myth here is the destination myth. It says that when I get to the top, then I will learn to lead. So if you don't learn to lead now, when are you going to learn? People say, when I go to the top, I will now learn to lead. No, you can start learning to lead now. You don't wait until examination before you start reading your book. You can start reading, start preparing now, so that if you get to the top, then you already know the skills. The number 3 lie that we tell ourselves is called the influence myth. The influence myth is when somebody says, if I were on the top, if I am the guy on the top, then people will follow me. Someone say, hey, brother, are people not following you? Well, hey, because I'm not the guy on the top. If I'm leader, they follow me. No. People are not following you because you are not worthy of emulation. That's it. People are not following you. People don't listen to you because you are not worthy of emulation. So don't say, oh, when I become the evangelist, then when I speak, they will now follow me. No. If they don't follow you now, if they follow you then, they are following you because you are on base 1. You have the right to lead. They don't have a choice. But one day, they are going to say they won't follow you anymore. The 4th lie is the inexperienced myth. The inexperienced myth is when you say to yourself, well, when I get to the top, then I will be in control. But now I'm not in control. I don't have experience. No, that is not true. If you cannot control yourself now, you're going to be a tyrant when you get to the top. The number 5 lie that we tell ourselves is called the freedom myth. The freedom myth is when somebody says, when I get to the top, I will no longer be limited. In other words, oh, I will have all the money, I will have all the authority, bro, you see, I will crank, bro, I will meet my goal, and whatever. You think people on top have all those things. It's like somebody says, so if like somebody say, oh, if you buy me all the books in the world, then I'll get a first class. No, you have to read. If you're not reading now, you can't read even if they buy you all the books in the world. The number 6 lie that we tell ourselves in leadership, the myth, is called what is called the potential myth. The potential myth is when you tell yourself, well, I can't reach my potential if I am not so and so. If I am not on the top. Who says? Your potential is what God has given you. You don't need a position to get to your potential. Position, listen carefully, everybody. Position is a recognition of what you do. Position is a recognition of what you are already doing. So you don't appoint somebody an evangelist, then he now start to now behave like an evangelist. No. Paul told Timothy, do the work of an evangelist. So you should start living like an evangelist now. You don't appoint somebody a teacher, then I begins now to not teach. No, that person should have been teaching. You don't appoint somebody an elder, then all of a sudden they now begin to now learn how to be temperate, how to now lead his family. No, that is 419. So that is the potential myth. Now you have the potential, start using it right now. Some people will say, oh, when I can't wait to be a church leader on my own, then I'll be able to now bring potential. Then you are a liar. You are a 419. You are a politician. That is what politicians do. In Lagos, in Nigeria, there are 2 big political parties. There is APC and PDP. If PDP is the one in power, The guy in APC or thereabout will be holding all the idea. They will criticizing. Then the day that APC now becomes power, they will not change everything PDP has done. And I'm asking, so you know all these things before. Why can't you tell the PDP guy, oh, this is how to do the road, though? Some of you are waiting for your leader to fall before you now show your potential. Some of you are waiting to now be appointed the church leader, the lead guy, before you now begin to now help. Whatever you know how to do now, start doing it. If there's anything you know, if there's anything you have, if there's anything you can do that can enhance the leadership. Leadership is not a person. Leadership is an institution. If there's anything you know, anything you have that can enhance leadership, please make suggestion to the leadership. Make suggestion. Let me give an example. In my ministry, we are supposed to have a dating couples workshop on the 27th of June this year. It was planned since last year. So my wife and I said, okay, now that we are on lockdown for almost 4 months right now, we can do it online. Then we now drafted it. It was looking good. Then I said, okay, we have some people who are dating on campus, but I'm not hearing anything happening around the church. So I called the singles man, the guy that leads singles ministry, Michael Omo. I said, Michael Omo, I have an idea. Not just an idea. We have something we've already worked out. We've got the theme is up, everything is up. Do you know any single people that would like to come and join? He said, bro, I want to join a fan. I want to come safe. I want to come and join. I said, man. Then I called another leader, on the island. I said, bro, do you have any dating couple or a gay couple? He said, I have. Then I began calling regional leaders. Before I know, some of them say, I want to come. And I said, guys, you're not going to come. You're going to come and teach. And I said, okay, bro, you're going to teach this class. Bro, you're going to teach that class. So that is the law of pull in, the law of buy in. So if I know anything that can help the church, I will suggest it. If I know that sending Rotimi and Christy will help the team ministry of the church, I will volunteer Rotimi and Christy. If I know that sending Shola, Nathaniel, Tochukwu, Kemme, and all those other guys, and to go and help John, I will do it. Because I'm not the evangelist. I'm not. But I have influence everywhere I go because I serve. So when you start serving, you start having influence. Don't hold your idea to yourself. Amen. I'm sure you're saying amen where you are. People that know me know how passionate I am about this thing. We don't want to have leaders who are selfish, leaders who are waiting for their leader to fall so that they cannot begin to now show their style. You are a politician. And when you do get to that level, people will do the same thing to you because it's not about the leader, it's about the institution. Now, the seventh myth is called the all or nothing myth. In other words, if I can't get to the top, then there's no point. I'm not to do that, there's no point. Then I'm not going to lead. So in other words, your drive is in the position at the top, not in serving people inside. You see, these are some of the myths of leading from the middle. People in middle class in any job, whether it's in the bank, whether it's in an oil company, whether it's in the community development, whether it's even the church, people who are in the middle always suffer from this myth. And I want you guys to know it ahead and ask yourself which of these myths, all of us are tempted by this myth. Everybody, nobody's immune. But I'm going to give you how you can fight it. If you are on the middle ground, some of you are on the middle ground, you are not a floor member of the church, you're on staff, but you're not the lead evangelist, you're not the regional leader, so you're like caught in between. You're not on the ground, you're not on the top, you're in between. Here are some things that we haunt you, and I'm going to give you tools how you can fight it back and be the best for yourself. So that that was section 1. In section 2, we're going to look at the challenges 360-degree leaders will face. If you want to be a 360-degree leader, which I'm sure you want to be, it is not going to be easy. Let me tell you ahead. If you are on middle management level and you want to have influence round, there are going to be some things that will come at you. So let me give you the bad news you're going to face. Number 1, there's going to be tension challenge. Challenge with tension. The pressure of being caught in the middle will always be there. You are not the leader. When leaders make decisions, you only get to hear about it. Then you are expected to go and carry them out. but you're not part of that decision. You didn't know how I mean. So there's going to be a tension. Number two, there's frustration, challenge. Following an ineffective leader. Maybe you are there and you feel that your leader is not effective. And you're like, the leader self, the ginger. The leader know the ginger. And you're feeling, can this guy just die? So that just die or something, or just go on transfer. That tension is there, especially if you are a very high productive middle manager. If somebody who is high productive is being led by somebody who has very little vision, it can frustrate you. And that is what is called the frustration challenge. The number three is the multi-hat challenge. When you are in the middle, you are going to be running from here there. Brother, go and organize the vision. You are running. As you are going, hey bro, go and organize people that's going to go and clean up the facility. You are going there. You are going to be a go-to guy. People will use you because that is what middle managers do. Middle managers are the ones that do a lot of the work. But let me encourage you. It is in that time that you actually grow your potential. And some of you who know me, you know there is nothing I've not been asked to do. I've led teens ministry, I've led singles ministry for the whole church, I've led marriage ministry for the whole church, I've led whatever ministry, teaching ministry, whatever ministry. This is my 4th time coming to lead campus ministry. I've been thrown here, there, everywhere. I have moved 13 times in the ministry in 20 years. 13 times in 20. So do the maths, and you know how many times. So, but that is the challenge of being in the middle. You become a multi-hat person. You wear multi-hats. People who are at the top seems to have very few hats, maybe 1 or 2. Maybe they are elders, but people who are in new grant, I expect to do everything. You are like a doctor, a doctor on attachment. You are going to be in the oncological department in 1 week. You'll be to accident and emergency in another week. You'll be to gynecology in another week. Whatever. What I'm telling you, take time to learn as much as you can. The challenge number 4 is the ego challenge. The ego challenge. Your ego will come at you because you are often hidden in the middle. You're like, even when you do great things, nobody hears your name. You are the one that have done all these things, but the person that they see is the guy on top. You are the one that have organized all these things, but the person they see is on the top, and it's going to hurt your ego. I tell you, it is true. So sometimes there are people who write speeches for the presidents. They write speeches, whatever, but they don't mention their name. There are people who prepare PowerPoint, for their evangelists or lead evangelists or the whatever, but nobody hears, hears their name. That is a challenge. But you see, all I'm saying that is where growth is actually sensed. Number 5 is the fulfillment challenge. As I speak, I know some of you are feeling it. Leaders like the front more than the middle. Some of you say, I've been here for so long that I'm not fulfilled. When am I going to be appointed evangelist? When am I going to have my own church? When am I going to whatever? And I'm happy you are thinking that way. I'm really glad. But you see, people in the middle often don't feel as fulfilled in the job. Now, there is a role that people on the top, people like us, when I say on the top, I mean people like, whenever I say people on the top, I mean people like me. So I'm not exonerating myself. When I want to say things bad about people in the middle, I'm also going to say someone like, like me. Because I'm also at the top, I'm also at the middle, and sometimes I don't even know where I am. Sometimes, as a church, we've not done well. We have seen where, and even this year, I wrote a paper. This year, I wrote to the elders. I wrote to whatever. I said, some things we are doing is not wrong. How can somebody serve for 9 years, 10 years, and it's not an evangelist? How can somebody, whatever, let's appoint evangelist? Sometimes we say, oh, we don't have money, but we have money to do many things. So that can be frustrating when you are in the middle and you can't measure your growth. The people on top have reached their ceiling, but you in the middle, it's like you are going, but you're not getting anywhere. So I'm telling you, that thing will come to you, but there's a way to handle it. When you are in the middle, that is the time to build your muscle. That's the time to study. That is time to learn. That's time to become an expert in everything, as many things as possible. Number 6 challenge that you face in the middle is the vision challenge. Because in the vision challenge, you find out that championing the vision is more difficult when you didn't create it. Let me give an example. As leaders like evangelists, senior evangelists, we go on a retreat, they will bring this idea, they will come and say, church, this is what we're going to do this year. Amen, amen. Now, we that brought the idea, we know the whole idea, we know the vision, we know the, but we don't know how to sell it to you. So you now become like a workman. Okay, they said you should go and do Vision 2020 video. So you go and carry camera. Hey, our church will baptize 2 million. Hey, whatever. But you don't understand the vision. So it is hard. There's a vision challenge. You are saying, yeah, I'm doing it. Why should we have West and Central African summits? Why can't we have West Africa? Why can't we have, abroad? Don't ask. Just do it. Why? Because that is what we were told to do. So people in the middle will be caught in that challenge. Number 7 is the influence challenge. The influence challenge is when leading others beyond your position is not easy. Because it's not easy. Some people will respect you more if there's a title to your name that says evangelist. Some people will, and I'm not saying it's right, but that's how we work. Some people will respect you more if there's a title in front of your name that says Elder Rotimi Awaye or Elder Charlie Davis or whatever, or one big name, or to say World Mission Evangelist. Because we respect title. Somebody that is living on your streets that you normally play with, that whatever, the day he's appointed a commissioner in your country, that day, boom, he now becomes a king. You now begin to give him an award. Why do you give people who are rich award? What do they do? Because they are rich and influential. So people think, oh, when I'm rich also I'll get an award. Is it not funny that somebody will go to school for 4 years, university, or 6 years, as the case may be, and come out with a first class, and MTN will give him a check of 10,000 naira, which is basically like, it's like how many dollars now, whatever, like $30 dollars. It was like, after being a first class, now I didn't go to school to be a first class, so I get 10,000 naira. But somebody will not sit in the house for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, not doing anything, just playing, singing, committing sexual immorality, whatever they call it, Big Brother. And when he finishes, they give him 200 million. You see, it's crazy. Our country, our world, the way it is. So there's a challenge. People are now like, okay, you are trying to change the world, but you're not getting the benefit. But somebody who is following the world is getting recognition. So how do I have influence in the world when by doing something good that I can't get influence? So people think that position is what they're going to need. So leading others beyond your position is not easy. Some of you now say, okay, the day I become my own church leader, then I will not tell people sit down, and they'll sit down, stand up, they'll stand up, whatever. So that's the influence challenge. But the truth is that you can have influence without a position. And I know it sounds strange, but I'm talking to you like somebody who came on staff from student intern, from a student intern support worker, and I had to climb through the ranks. It took me 10 years to be appointed an evangelist. There are people who were hired 1 year after I've been hired. They were appointed evangelists in 3 months. 3 months they were appointed evangelists. But me, it took me 10 years. Whatever. But you know what happened? To God's glory, I've been able to acquire a lot of those guys. Appointed evangelists never let their own church. They never went to go and plant church. They never suffered what I suffered. So they never tasted the meat of being in ministry. So while I was in the desert, while I was being sold to Egypt, while I was working in Potiphar's house, while I was in prison and left whatever there, I was there building my resume. And that's what I want you to do. Don't look at position, even though it is good. And I think if you deserve it, we should give you a recognition. And any church that is holding back, we should think about it again and begin to reward people for hard work they've done and every single thing. But that should not be where your joy comes from. Section 3. We're doing well with time. Section 3. Let's discuss the principles 360-degree leaders will practice to lead up. Now we have looked at the lies. We've seen the lies we shouldn't be telling ourselves, right? Sorry. We've seen the lies we shouldn't be telling ourselves. Section 1. Then from that section 1, we have seen the challenge that you face trying to do this thing. Now let's start talk about how to do it, because it's possible. How to do it in section 3. Here's the principle 360-degree leaders practice if you want to influence the person on top of you. And all of us here, listen to me, including myself, we have somebody on top of us, all of us. Nobody here is an elder yet. that will say, okay, I'm at the pinnacle of church leadership in the church. Even the elders disciple themselves. The Holy Spirit is there. God is there. All of us is there. But how can you influence somebody on top of you? Number one, leader principle number one is lead yourself exceptionally well. Lead yourself exceptionally well. There is no way you can convict your leader of not brushing his teeth if you yourself, your teeth is brown. There's no way you won't come and say, sir, I have idea of how to make teeth clean and your own teeth is brown. What I'm saying is this: if you lead yourself well, leaders on top, because we have what they call leadership pride, all of us are prideful on top, we will listen to you when we see that you are excellent in what you're doing. Even in school, a lecturer will give more attention to a student that is always doing his assignments, that is submitting his assignment on time, that comes to class early, that's not class. We love students like that. That is how the world works. So if you want to get the ear of your leader, be an excellent follower first. Lead yourself excellently well. Don't be the one that would say, oh, we're going to go and evangelize, and you not go evangelize. Oh, our ministry, we're going to push to give more money, and you not give. Even yourself, you're not giving. You will say, let us go and have a conference in, let's say, Accra, Ghana, or somewhere. You say, no, it's not possible. It's foul. They know that you don't have faith. So no leader will want to listen to you because you are not exceptional. Number two, principle to influence people on top of you. Lighten your leader's load. You see, leaders on top always feel encouraged when they have leaders below them who are helping them out. And I'm very excited about people that I work with. Someone like Shemu Oyegunle, he's helping us out do our reports, the COVID-19 reports. He does it without any complaining. Someone like Onye has been our accountant. She keeps our money. She makes sure that money is well. I mean, they don't complain. Wrote to me. You guys will see wrote to me every time he's one setting up this GC thing. He's one reminding us whatever. I don't have to remind him, but I didn't have to tell him. He will just do it. You will see someone like Christianity is there. Whatever I ask her to do, she will do. In fact, ICLC, she can go to Lagos Island like 200 times a day, and she says, I don't know where she gets the energy from. And I can share about every one of them, especially the ones that are here. Even the ones that are not here. Justice Paul, even some of you guys who are no more here, like Tochukwu, like Bode, Nathaniel, Keme, Shola, all of those guys. You guys know how we rough and tumble. A leader loves it when somebody under them is always helping them to make their job easier. A leader is, you can easily influence your leader when you are thinking ahead. I know I don't want to mention names, just so, but I remember how many classes are prepared for my leaders. I prepare classes, I help them. I say, bro, as they're talking, I'm writing it down. I say, bro, everything you've said, look at it in PowerPoint. You say, wow, bro, you did that. I say, yeah. So, bro, go and run with it. Whatever. So leaders will come to me, man, you bring your laptop, you do bring your projector, whatever. I make their job easier. So when I speak, they listen. Number three, principle, be willing to do what others will not want to do. Be willing to do the dirty job. Some of you like to do clean job, or some of you want, how it is, we say we want to have a party, and we have 4 departments. One, who is going to go and buy the food for the party. Sorry, who's going to raise the money for the party? That's number one. Some of you will not put your hand up. Number 2, who's going to take the money to go to the market and go and buy all the food that we need? Some of you will not put up your hand. Number 3, who's going to cook all the food that we just bought? That's number 3. Number 4, who is going to make sure that we serve the food? They not say hand up. I want to serve the food. You know why? Because you know that you want to get your own food out first before other people, whatever. So sometimes people want to serve where they will get. But if you're not willing to do what others will not do, if you don't volunteer easily, if you're always waiting until you are told or challenged to do something, or you are commanded to do something, bro, I need you to come to church early and set up the chairs, then you not do it grudgingly. But what about the person that comes to church and we're like, who set up the chair? Say, that brother over there. Wow, bro, you did that? Yeah. And nobody asked you. Yeah, I just felt it needed to be done. A leader will listen to that kind of a person. So be willing to do what others will not do. Number 4, do more than just manage. Some of you, and you've heard me say that before, the church is not an organization, it's an organism. Some of you just want to manage. You know what? You want us to grow a church, baptize disciples in the church, baptize people who have money in the church, build facilities for the church, do everything, then now hand it over to you. You now become a manager. What about growing, leading? Lead from bottom up. Leadership is by influence. Some of you just want to manage. Which one is easier? To go and beg for money or to go and count the money? So if you count the money, that's is anybody can count the money. You know, so if you lead more than just managing, you can influence your leader up. Number 5, I want you to invest in relational chemistry. Talk to people. Learn about people. Find out how they are doing. You see, leaders at the top are the most loneliest people in the whole world. And some of you guys who are at a particular level, you know, if you're an evangelist here or lead evangelist or whatever, you know, you ask everybody, hey, bro, how you guys doing? Are you okay? Have you had any food? Have you eaten? You know, what about your son? What about your daughter? Leaders are asking that question. But most of the time, people don't ask the leaders, how are you doing? People hardly ask leaders, how is your car? Your car has issues. How did you manage? How did you, that's your clothes I thought that day. How did you manage? Oh, I can see that you are now online. How did you get it? Oh, what about your phone? Most of the time, people don't ask leaders on top. But if leaders in the middle management don't do it because you want to get attention, whatever. No, just be caring. So invest in relational chemistry with everybody. Find out how they are doing. If your leader has added weight, tell them, man, you are looking nice. Don't say, man, you are overweight. No, man, you are looking robust. You are looking juicy. You are looking tasty fried chicken. You know what I mean? You know, leaders on the top need encouragement. Leaders everywhere actually need encouragement. Leader principle number 6, be prepared every time you take your leader's time. When you go to discipline time or you have a time, whatever, go there prepared. People who know me, my last time with Chris Obunaya was 7 pages that I wrote. I think I have 7 pages. I said, bro, can we talk? 7 pages. I go there prepared. A leader doesn't like somebody who just come and he'll be just staring and looking, whatever. Like, okay, if you leader talk, then he not talk. No. You know, go there prepared. That's how you can influence your leader. Let your leader know what you are doing. Let the leader know what you are thinking. Ask questions, seek advice, whatever. Each time you meet your leader, be prepared. If you're going to take his time, make sure that time works. Number 7, know when to push and when to back off. Leaders on the top don't like people who are pushy. And I'm telling you that because that just is the leadership pride. Sometimes it might not just be pride, it might just be whatever. That know when, when to push an idea and learn when to just back off. If you push too much, you might be sending the wrong signal. And if you just fold your hand all the time, also be telling the wrong side. So pray for wisdom. If you see something that's not going well, or let's not say going well, that needs to be better in your church or in your group, whatever. Learn how do I present this to my leader, and let it come, whatever. And the leader said, well, don't worry about it. Then don't worry about it. Don't say, no, I must worry you. He said, bro, don't worry about it. I must push you. If you do that, you might not be sending a very good, they say. So we have 2 more. Number 8, become a go-to player. Be somebody that people can approach easily and can ask you to do something for them. Be open, be available. That's what that means. Just be available. And number 9, be better tomorrow, than you are today. Always grow. If a leader comes to you because you know how to ride a bicycle, he will come to you. But don't just stop in riding bicycle. Learn how to ride motorcycle. Learn how to ride a car. Then your leader will keep coming to you. But if they need someone to ride bicycle and you cannot, they'll go to somebody else. So make yourself available, learn, keep growing, make yourself relevant in the scheme of where you are. Number 4, I'm speeding. We have just 20 minutes. I'm speeding to make sure that we do well with time. Number 4 is the principle of 360-degree leaders, what they practice to lead across. Now we've learned how to influence our leaders on top of us. What about your peers? People across by your right and your left. Here are the principles. They are very similar. Number 1, if you want to lead people or influence your peers, then understand practice 2, then complete leadership loop. You must go round. Don't be biased. Don't just stick with one kind of people. Make sure you go round. Leadership loop. You must go round. Learn what it means to serve. When it's time to serve, you serve with them. When it's time, whatever. Don't make yourself an organ in the midst of your peers. No. But if they are swimming floor, join them to swim floor. If you're already chair, don't become a lead evangelist when you are an intern. Don't act like an evangelist when you are an intern, or else people in your cadre will not like you. Number 2, is to put completing, fellow leaders ahead of competing. Be aware of competition. People who are in the middle class. I'm still in the middle class. I'm always there. I mean, I'm not lead evangelist, so I'm in the middle class. Even amongst our peers, whether you are senior evangelist, whether you are evangelist, whether you are intern, whatever, there is something called competition. Competition is when 2 or more people are working or fighting to each get to a place. Completion, to complete, is where 2 or more people are joining hands together to make sure that they all get the job done. And that does not remove your individualism. You are still an individual, whatever. But hey, if somebody can sing better than you, then let that person sing. Let it be the song leader. If somebody can ride a car better than you, let the person ride the car. Don't want to say, I need to, it's my turn. I want to ride the car. But you're going to spoil the car. You don't have to drive. Go and learn first. So when you are doing that, you are competing. Find out what you 2 are good at doing and build yourself well. Don't always be looking at somebody else's soup and be licking your mouth. Also go and learn how to cook soup. Okay? Number 3, be a friend. Everybody likes a friend. Just be a friend. Don't become a mini boss. Don't become like boss, baby, that character. Be a friend. Number 4, avoid office politics. And there's a lot of them, where you hear something from Mr. A, you go and tell Mr. B, then you hide something from Mr. B, whatever, all this office talking. Okay, let me do this. Oh, I will not tell him so that I will become the next Bible talk leader. Whatever. Avoid office politics. Number 5, expand your circle of acquaintance. Get to know more people. Don't just get stuck with people. If you're in Lagos, get to know disciples in Accra, Ghana. If you're in Abeokuta, call somebody off from Abuja. If you're in Abuja, call somebody from Port Harcourt. Expand your circle. Let people know you. Get to know people. If you're on vacation, travel. Say, bro, I'm on vacation. Can I come and spend like 2 days with you? Oh, sure, come over. Don't worry. I'll bring my food. I'll bring my own money. Say, bro, don't worry about food or money. Just come. Make new friends. Number 6, let the best idea win. Don't play the politics that will play in politics in Nigeria, where if a Southerner has a fantastic idea, they will rather take the idea of a Northerner, because the last time it was a Southerner idea that it took. So this time, let us also take idea from the North. Not because the idea is good, but because so that we also be able to spread the taking of idea. Don't do that. Don't do what killed African football, where in Nigeria, people come and train, the coaches come, they select their very good team. And a day before they now inaugurate the team, they'll just get a phone call from one commissioner from Abuja. I want to put this other guy. That team does not reflect national character. In other words, there are too many Igbos in that team. Why can't we put also Hausa and Yoruba, whatever? This is a game to go win. Let the best person, the best idea win. So as long as we keep adopting horrible myopic idea so that we can satisfy some people, your church will not grow. Your church will not grow. Number 7, don't pretend you are perfect. Sometimes you'll say, hey, I don't know. Hey, bro, do you know 1 + 1? No, I thought it was 11. Oh, is it true? Okay, I don't know. So, that's also part of let other people. If you cannot play football, don't go and be the coach of football players. Me, I don't play football, so you can't see me coaching football players. You can't see me whatever. No, I'm not there to encourage people, clapping for them. I know the areas I can do well. So don't pretend that you have to be everywhere at the same time. So how do you now influence people who are below you? Number 5. Principle number 1, walk slowly through the halls. In other words, when you are in church, don't just walk to the front and you stay at the front. No, fellowship break, move around, see, get to know people who are below you, because they too want to be like you, and you too used to be like them. You know, don't just let position cut you away from people. You know, some people who are leading marriages, for example, they feel it's a demotion to go and lead singles. Somebody who is leading singles would think is a demotion to go and lead campus. Someone leading campus think it's a bring down to go and lead Kids Kingdom or team ministry or whatever. Come on, guys, they're all human beings. You know, it's about serving people, not about position. So when you are walking through the hall, go, if it's Kids Kingdom, get to know those children, play with them, carry them. If it's young disciples, get to know them. Don't, after Bible discussion, talk to people, visitors. That's how to influence people who are below you. People will begin to admire you. They will like you. That man, this guy is good though. This guy cares about small people. Number 2, see everyone as a 10. Put a 10 value on everyone. Now, if they want to bring themselves to 2 or 3, that's their own wahala. But on your own, put the same value. That is a problem we have in America, where there is more value on white people than on black people. They feel that if they kill a black man, it's okay. Then nobody will carry a placard. But if you touch a white man, you can imagine, you see videos of a white man carrying assault rifle on the street, and the policeman just come, okay, sir, what I do is that assault, okay. I'm sure you know what you're doing. I'm sure whatever, he has had a hard day. Whatever. But if it's a black man that holds a toy gun, he's a criminal. You know, because they are placed value. Even amongst us, we do the same thing too. Colonial mentality. Everything from the West is more superior than from Africa. Meanwhile, Africa supplies the West with everything. Uranium that made Africa war power, that gave them the atomic bomb, got it from Congo. Without Africa, there is no Africa, what they call it, National Geographic. All this animal, without Africa, most of the zoo in the Western world will not be excited. They don't have zebra in the Western world. They don't have giraffe in the Western world. They don't have gorilla in the Western world. They don't have so many things in the Western world. So the Western world depends on us. But we don't know our value. That's why we beat down ourselves. That's why today, if you go to Accra, Ghana, it is Chinese that is doing the road, that is building the airport. If you go to Lagos, Nigeria, it is Chinese that are doing the road, that are doing the train. If you go to Sierra Leone, it's Chinese. If you go to Kenya, Chinese. I said, what about Africans who went to school to study engineering? Why is it that somebody else's food is always sweeter than your own food? Put a 10 on everyone. Number 3, I know you guys know I'm very passionate when I'm talking about things like this. Develop each team member as a person. When you do that, you are going to avoid competition. Everybody is unique. If a man's gift is this, let him do it. In fact, I'm going to sponsor him. If his gift is to carry camera, I'm going to send him to photography school. That's what I've done on campus. If your gift is in music, we're going to buy musical instrument and give you. If your gift is to drive, we're going to get you a driver's license. If your gift is to go to Lagos Island, we're going to make sure there's money for you to go to Lagos Island. Amen, amen. What I mean, whatever your gift is, let's encourage people to develop each member as a person. Stop comparing people. Stop expecting everybody to have the same, the same gift, the same output, the same. No. Train them to be ambitious, but watch them as they begin to come out. If they are insane, rebuke them. But after a while, you will see their strength. That's why the first thing we do is personality test. You see everybody's strength and help them to be the best. Everybody is useful in the church. The Bible says that the body is not made up of one part, but of many. Number 4, place people in their strength zone. I've already mentioned that because they all flow. Place them in their strength zone. Sometimes somebody can sing very well. He's the best song leader. And when he sings, the angels we just clap. The visitors will like, wow, I'm coming back to this church. But sometimes we remove the guy who can sing very well because he didn't meet his fair contribution goal, because he didn't have a job, whatever. They will not put somebody else who cannot sing to be a punishment to that person, and we begin to now discuss the whole church. Or we appoint somebody to be a leader based on sentiments, not based on their on God-given talent they have. So place people in their strength zone. Don't take away what people are doing well and give to somebody who's not doing well, so that you can make people equal. No, we are all equal, yes, but they are what is called first among equal. Some people have added value to their life. Then let them do the job. Number 5, you have to model the behavior that you desire. If you want the leaders on top to treat you well, then treat people underneath you well, or treat them better. Model the kind of behavior. If you want the leaders on top to be benevolent towards you, then be more benevolent to people under you. If you want leaders on top to be more sacrificial towards you, then do the same thing. Don't just expect, also give. Number 6, transfer the vision. One of the things that helped European countries, American countries, and Asian countries. When I say Asian countries, I mean Indians, Chinese. Because those guys are very heavy in writing. They document so many things. That's why till today, Chinese medicine is still relevant, because they write it down and they pass it down to the next generation. In Africa, if somebody discovers the cure for, let's say, HIV, and there are 10 things he must put together for that cure, he will teach you 9, he will hide 1. In fact, the one he will hide will be the most important one, so that when that man dies, the vision dies, with the man. So leadership is not what people can do with you, but what they can achieve without you. So if you leave your ministry today and people cannot still give their best, then you've not transferred your vision. A leader that transfers his vision is saying that somebody is going to come and take my job. That is what they are saying. So you are not insecure. If you raise people up to be like you, you are saying that I'm going to be out of job very soon. But that should be your joy. Your joy is to raise up people just like you. Jesus Christ raised up men and said, you will do even greater things than I have. What is that? World evangelism. Things that I couldn't do, you will do it. And he gave a vision. You will be my witness to everywhere. You will be my witness. So give them the vision. And that's why that vision never died till today. Because Jesus Christ passed his vision. Finally, you need to reward for results. Don't reward the wrong things. You see, sometimes, whether we know it or we don't know it, we accidentally or mistakenly, I don't know. I guess there are so many things I'm going to say today that I'm going to be in trouble. God help me. Okay, I don't think it's right to have somebody serve for 10 years and it's not promoted. And the day you want to promote, you now promote everybody at the same time. Put the person that have served for 2 years or 3 years, you put them on the same promotion. Then I now add, so I know the person didn't come because of the money, but why can't you honor? Why can't you honor your agreement? Why this person, what about the experience of 10 years, of 20 years, I don't know how many years? Why? And I tell somebody, it's only God that can do that, not human being. You can't do that in a bank. You can't do that in MTN. You can't do it whatever. How can somebody work, and you don't promote it? You don't want to promote it. Okay, let's promote across the board. I think we need to reward for results. Don't promote people so that you can feel good as a promoter. Promote people based on what they have done. When you do that, people who are lazy will be exposed. Then they will now work hard. But if they know that whether I work or don't work, I'm going to be promoted when there's a promotion, then it's not right. It's like, why will I work hard to be top of my class when I know that eventually nobody will fail and they will just pass everybody? Lecturer will just come and say, come and buy my notes and pass everybody. Then what's the point? That is what has killed excellence. And even today, we try to beat down on excellence. We come up with all kinds of excuses. And that's why Nigeria, I am running this program with generator. No light in my house. That's why you see Americans doing their online web service. They can all sing at the same time. They say, Africa, if you sing though, you're going to say me, because our telecommunication is still not doing well. Light is not whatever. What did we learn from the Igbo people? Reward for result. Don't give somebody promotion because it's from the north or from the south, or because it's Yoruba or Hausa or it's PDP or APC. Give people who have worked hard, a reward, so that people who are coming can see something to work towards. I've said enough, but this is where we're going to close. What is the value of learning all of these things? Number one, if you learn these things very well, a leadership team is more effective than just one leader. Then you can now, if you grow people, if you give them, help, your church will better. If you have more people who you have trained, it is better than just having one man. Because some people are afraid that when they leave, the church will scatter. But don't raise anybody up. Leaders are needed at every level of the organization, both under, both in between, both by the side, both on top. Everybody must find where they are useful. It is not just only on top. When we glorify the top position, everybody wants to go to the top. Nobody wants to do the job. Number 3, leading successfully at one level is a qualifier for leading at the next level. People want to be promoted to lead 20 people, but they've done very poorly in leading 10. Is that not what the Bible says? That he that have done well will be given more. So if you're here today and you want to be giving your own church to lead, your own zone to lead, your own sector to lead, your own whatever to lead, what have you done with the small? Again, it's not about longevity. It's not about how long I have been on staff, but it's how long have I learned. If you have learned, then you can be, but I've been here for 20 years now, for 10 years now, but you've not been producing, but you've not shown aptitude for learning. So why should we produce? Even right now, many of you have worked hard. You've submitted, even to this morning, people are submitting assignments, people are writing projects. Some of you have never written one. Then how do you want to get MTA certificates? Number 4, good leaders in the middle make better leaders at the top. If you learn to be a good leader in the middle, then when you get to the top, you'll be an excellent leader. Don't be in a hurry to go to the top because of position. Maybe you think, evangelists, they are paying them more money. Evangelists in Lagos, they have cars. Evangelists, they have whatever they are. My brother, go and find out how those cars are bought. Some of those cars are borrow money from banks and from corporate society. So get the facts. Number 5, 360-degree leaders possess qualities every organization needs. If you become that kind of leader, guys, you will never be out of job. Honestly, I'm telling you, you will never be out of job. It will be hard for you to stay at home for 1 week, say I don't get a job. People will headhunt you because people like that kind of people. The people will not care which country you come from. They won't care your accent you have, your language. They will take you because of what you can produce, not because of how you look, not because of your surname. So add value to your life and you'll always be in the market. That is where we are going to stop. And like I promised you, we made it right on time. Thank you so much for being such a patient audience. And before we pray, let me see if I can get some feedback. Sorry, I was racing. Because I know after today is next week. I have the hand of Gina. Gina's hand is up. Gina, you want to unmute your mic and speak? Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon.
That's Benga Tolagbe.
Yes. Myself and my wife, we're using one device. So our name is always
that is called Unity. That's what's called Unity. And it's also very economical.
Thank you so much. I'm so passionate about everything you are talking about. I'm also a man that, get driven by the passion of leadership and how I serve my people, how I give to them, and how accountable I need to be. Also to be able to influence my top leader and even my peers as well. And I know that by the grace of God, I have been able to achieve a certain degree in this area. Being able to influence my leader, being able to influence my peers and even those under me. And I'm so glad that you are really talking about all this so passionately. And my prayer is that I will expand my scope in this area and I'll keep learning and I'll be able to see how much I can do, to impact, people and also my society as well. I know that you said, yes, one thing you said that I was just saying that you need to direct this to the right set of people. When you're talking about rewarding people for excellence in terms of people who have served for 10 years and there they've not been made evangelists. I know most of the time we talk about the men, but what about the women? And we have women who have served, and I see that most times we promote men more than women as well. I see the women are not even relevant at all. And funny enough, they do a lot of work in the ministry. We recognize the men more than the women. So I feel like even this should be channeled to the right authority. I know that there are times I really want to voice out, and you know, something will just keep pulling me back. You know, but like the kind of person I am, I don't like people. I don't like injustice anyway. I like that people should get what they need. Then the last thing I want to talk about, and I feel like all of us on this platform, you know, to truly look at is the church. The churches we are leading belongs to God, and after some time we might be asked to leave and go to another place. We should do as much as possible to prepare the place better for the next person that will come, and not in a way inject, you know, people against the person that will come and make the work very hard for the person to do. It will be of no benefit to us and also to the church and the people as well. I want to give kudos to you for your great work, and I pray that we can continue to get better and better in leadership. Thank you. God bless you, sir.
Amen. Thank you, Gbenga Tolagbe. Later today, please check your WhatsApp. I say text I sent you yesterday. You need to respond. Thank you, Gbenga Tolagbe, for saying that. I am responsible, and so I'm going to speak responsibly. Even this year, I've brought it up, and I think some people are looking into it. I think, and I don't understand. There's some things I don't understand. Honestly, I don't understand. And because we are growing as a church, we are forming things as we go. We are bringing them up. So there's some things I didn't know before, honestly, that I just got to know 2 months ago. No, 3 months ago. I didn't know that before. 2 months ago, I just got to know. I just actually got to know that, honestly, you guys believe that women earn less than men in our church, irrespective of their qualification. I was like, why? How did I ever got to know? I have some people who finished from School of Mission, who are serving my ministry right now, a brother and sister, and they got married. And so we're looking at their finances, and the sister said, oh, my husband earns more than me. I said, about 2 of you came in School of Mission, you have degree, he has degree, and 2 of you got trained for 3 years, and you are paid the same amount for 3 years. You now got married, now you're working as a couple. So how come the husband is and it's not as if the husband is working way more than, you know. Anyway, there are some things we are trying to morph also. Even me, I don't understand. So when I come out, I say, honey, what? I thought I earn more than you because I've been on Star longer than you. Said no. Even if you came on the same day, you see earn more than me. I say, whoa, I don't understand that. Now again, maybe we're going to ask the women to work less so that they can stay more at home and take care of the children, so that can justify what the man does or whatever. But the closest example, explanation I got, because I actually took it up to the elder, to the evangelist, I took it up immediately. What I got was, oh, the women are working in a support capacity to the men. I said, wow. I said, but does that principle also apply in church office? And nobody can answer me that question. So I am expressive about what I think, and I put it in writing, and I send it to the elders. Hey guys, we go look at it, whatever. So if there's anything you are feeling, let your leaders know. It is better than grumbling behind, and I don't like that. So I'll tell them, and that's what I did. Immediately I found it. I quickly. So you might even open up something we didn't know. Some you might be like, really? Oh, we didn't know that. We didn't know that. We didn't know that this person has been around for 10 years. We didn't know that. So your speaking up might even bring up all of those stuff. So I will respectfully would like to stop the discussion here. Not because I'm running away, but because of time, because I promise it's already 5 minutes past 12. I want to thank everyone for showing up. Our next meeting will be on the 1st of July and 2nd of July. And we're not going to say, now we've learned about leadership, how do we now make the church healthy? We look at church health, look at church discipline. How do we help people in the church who are falling away, who are struggling, who are divisive, who are sick, who are all of this? As a leader, how do we heal the church? That's what we're going to spend most of our time doing. Next week, 1st and 2nd. Then on the 8th and 9th, we are not going to be down. I'm going to be there, but I won't be the only one speaking. I won't be the one speaking actually. Then we're going to look at how do we now position our church to have teens ministry, singles ministry, campus ministry. So we're going to invite people to come and share whatever all those. So how do we lead singles? How do we incorporate harmonized marriage? How do we all those special ministries in the church? Why do we need all those special ministries? the Bible didn't talk about team ministry, talk about elders, evangelists, deacons, and whatever. Why do we need all those other ministries? So we're going to share youth and family, all of those stuff. Hopefully you're going to learn. So by the time we do that, that's going to be the end of this semester. Already we've gotten most of the papers have come in, both final projects, professional people have come in. Then we're going to start to mark, marking will now start. I've seen a few, but marking, I want to make sure that you get your grades or your book back on time, so that I believe in August, we're going to use July to just chill out, mark the script, give you the script, prepare the syllabus for the next, which it's already down. We're going to take the next syllabus. That's going to be August, September, October, November, for 4 months or 3 months. We're going to do that and finish. You're going to have videos. Then towards, before we start the class, we're going to do this face-to-face for like a week or two to give you a foundation, because that's what we didn't do in this class. Then you now go and start listening to the videos, reading your book, and I'm sure everybody will do well. So thank you again for listening. I'm very grateful for all of us who took out time, and let's continue the conversation online. Some of you are watching us on on YouTube. I know some of you are on YouTube watching, some of you are here. Please, let's continue to pray for one another, and I know that God will see us through. We are not there yet as a church. There are some things that we don't know. There are some things we've done right. Many things we've done right. Some things we still are trying to do. We're going to be gracious to one another, but as leaders, we are going to say the truth. We are going to say how we are feeling, so that our church can be much more better. I'm going to ask, what's his name? Oh man, I'm looking at everybody's name here. I'm going to ask my brother, Divine. My brother Divine Ofori. You've been very quiet, throughout this, classes. I hope you're okay. I'm going to ask Divine to unmute your mic and close us with a word of prayer, and then we'll see each other next week, Monday, 1st of July. Thank you.
All right. Amen. Please, let's pray. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, right. Loud and clear.
Father God in heaven, we thank you so much for how loving you have been to us. Father, we thank you for this moment of learning. In fact, we've learned so much. But Father, we pray for the strength to be able to put these things into practice. Because with that, your church will blossom and glory would come to you. Father, be with us in everything we do, and help us to continue to focus on you at every point in time. It's in your son's name we pray with thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen.
We did it. Thank you so much, everybody.
Amen. You're welcome.
Let's remember to submit our scripture. Yeah, amen. Those guys in Accra, Ghana, submit your script to Charlie Davis. I hope, Charlie, you are marking everybody's script.
Uncle Emmett, thank you so very much, sir. Thank you so much. God bless you, sir.
You're welcome. I'm grateful. All right. Yes, so Tishawa, Titus, all of now we don't get money to put on your video. We can just say manage your video. You manage it, Be managing. Keep on managing. People like us keep on spending. People like us keep on spending. Keep on managing. Deepo and Cynthia, keep on managing.
Thank you so much, Uncle.
That's it.
Thank you so much, Uncle. We are very grateful. God bless you, sir.
Glory, one day, Iripola brother, Iripola one name. Cynthia, good to see you.
Thank you. Uncle M.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much.